Alrighty, guys, good evening. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday, start of the weekend, guys, depending on where you are in the world. Good. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Yeah. Tonight, we're going to be doing more of the OW2s. See where things go here. Pretty good. We'll see. Still contemplating streaming to other services, and still considering doing so maybe for about a month. I think what I'm going to end up doing is streaming to other services and then stream reruns, so the original content that I streamed to that website a day later on Twitch. I don't know how long you need to wait, and that's something I'm looking into right now. If I can restream and just add a delay, I would do that, but obviously there's a partner agreement that I have to work around, and I have to figure out how exactly the partner agreement is structured in that regard so I don't get banned, or have more than likely just get my partnership yoinked, because I probably won't get it back anytime soon. Because it turns out, I'm a small streamer, and I probably am not living up to Twitch's expectations. They are sad that I'm a small streamer for 10 years at this point, so... Yep. Okay, I'm gonna wash my coffee cup out, guys, and then we'll get into the YouTubes. See what's going on here tonight. Be right back, guys, 1 second. Alrighty. Good evening, Ruth and Bloody. Good evening, guys. Good. Still using my feet warmer, guys. Pretty impressive. This year, guys, I mean, the weather's just going to keep getting weirder and weirder with climate change. But fucking weird, because now we're moving in kind of like what you'd consider summer months, but it still gets relatively cold outside. So, yeah. I think summer starts in June, actually. I don't know when summer starts. Almost to June. Almost the summer months. And so getting very chilly out. Here in Florida, though. Maybe we should take a look at the big black cock. I mean, the British Broadcasting Company. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out exactly the whole logistics behind how I'd have to restream to multiple platforms and back to Twitch. My guess is I have to basically upload the video a day later after I'm done streaming from other websites. If I could just delay it, I would. And technically, I think as far as if you're looking at like a loophole standpoint, I'm pretty sure as long as the content's not live, which is technically if you add a delay, content is no longer live. So technically, if I have a 10-second delay, I'm not live on Twitch anymore. That's technically old content. So it really depends on the lawyering definition of what live content is, because I can't stream to multiple platforms at once. What I'm going to end up doing is streaming to other platforms and then stream back to Twitch with a delay or a day later as a rerun. So I can't. I mean, you told me that already. I can't. I could barely earn a penny on Twitch. So apparently, Linus could have sold up for 100 million. I believe it. He's a tech company or techtainment. He's basically entertainment at this point. I really don't know what he's stepping down from, though, because if you look at some of their videos, they don't really do much of anything. So that's why it's techtainment. He makes guest appearances. And does, like, maybe the voiceover. So maybe he's a voiceover actor or something like that. I don't know. Let's look at the big British cock.
We're heading into the middle of the Atlantic now because we're going to look at one of the most famous shipwrecks of all time. The focus of all those documentaries and Hollywood movies. But there's one version of Titanic.
I saw this days ago, guys. I saw this a couple days ago. Not the BBC's version of it, but the reason I haven't covered it is because Titanic's basically been done to death. At this point, there's so many documentaries, videos, photos on it. It's not really anything new, interesting.
Experts have used special technology to map the entire ship.
I mean, so he wants to retire is basically what it comes down to. I guess.
Given exclusive access to the project.
Like you waste like a 30-year life working, so or not wasting, depending on what you think of it.
The Titanic. It's so huge that in the gloom, cameras can only ever show us tantalizing snapshots of the decaying ship, never the whole thing. But now a new project has revealed the wreck as it's never been seen before. There aren't many.
They stitched together a bunch of photos
of the Titanic, but this is one of them, the stadium where the 2012 London Olympics was held. A full-sized scan of the wreck has been captured, and to appreciate its scale, we've superimposed it in the stadium. The Titanic was simply colossal.
Pretty cool.
This 3D scan.
By the way, kind of the interesting thing I've seen on TikTok, or not TikTok, Facebook and Twitter, is where they compare the size of the Titanic to modern cruise ships, and the Titanic is like a quarter the size of like a modern cruise ship, which is pretty. I haven't actually went on a cruise before, but that's actually insane to think about in and of itself. Because the Titanic was a big ship, and they're trying to visualize it here, but there's actually much bigger ships nowadays.
Fills the wreck in its entirety. For the first time, we have an exact digital copy of the real thing. And what you see here is what's lying on the floor of the North Atlantic
Fake.
Ocean.
That's not the Titanic in there. Fake.
Enormous
Fake.
size. This scan also gives us a close-up view of its smallest details.
It's just pretty cool.
You can explore the wreck from every angle. The boat deck here can be seen from above. The gaping hole provides a glimpse inside, where the grand staircase once stood. And this is what's left of the captain's bridge and the wheelhouse, covered in fragile stalactites of rust. Already some remarkable detail can be seen, like this serial number on a propeller.
What makes this different is a true digital twin of the Titanic. The resolution is phenomenal, genuinely phenomenal. I've not seen anything of that resolution. This will allow scientists, historians to really understand how the Titanic came to be where it is. And it's also it's a snapshot in time.
They didn't find it. Shit, she just fucking threw him off that door. He's gone.
Submersibles were deployed, remotely controlled from the ship. They travelled the length and breadth of the wreck, back and forth. 700,000 images were taken from every angle to build up an exact 3D reconstruction. The wreck is in two parts. The bow is still instantly recognisable, more than 100 years after it sank. 800 metres away, the stern, though, is a chaotic mess of metal. It collapsed as it corkscrewed into the sea floor. In the surrounding debris field, items are scattered. Ornate metalwork, unopened champagne bottles, and personal possessions too. Dozens of shoes resting on the sediment. Despite how extensively the Titanic has been explored, there are still many fundamental questions.
Hey,
The hope
Sanjo.
is this scan could provide
How's your day going?
answers.
We really don't understand the character of the collision with the iceberg. We don't even know if she hit it along the starboard side, as shown in all the movies. She might have grounded on the iceberg. And this photogrammetry model is one of the first major steps to driving the Titanic.
I mean, at this point,
toward evidence.
it really doesn't matter, to be perfectly honest, but
The sea is taking
different
its
hobbies for
toll
different
on the
folks, right?
wreck.
Different strokes for different
Microbes
folks.
are eating away at it, and parts are disintegrating.
Yeah.
Time is running out to find out what happened on that April night in 1912, when more than 1,000
Told ya.
lives were lost.
Not
The
completely
scan
against that.
now freezes the wreck in time and allows experts to pore over every minute detail. The hope is Titanic may yet give up its secrets. Rebecca Morrell, BBC News.
I believe that's only the front part.
It's amazing, isn't it?
absolutely
Absolutely
stunning.
incredible to see it. And we're delighted to say we're joined now in the studio by
These little round glasses, when I was in Europe, these little round glasses are like stylish, like all over the place. The Germans wear these a lot. Not against them either, or completely not a fan, but these are really big in Europe. Sometimes you see them in the US, but it's usually really big in Europe.
Anthony Geffen, who's
Very
the
unique
Chief
style.
Executive Creative Director of
It's not the giant
Atlantic
ones that were in
Productions,
Asia
one
either.
of the firms behind this project. I bet you still can't quite believe it when you see it on the screen like we have this morning.
Makes you look a little bit
This is
dapper.
the first time it's been revealed, and it's been a long time coming. A huge amount of work. But it's
Thought about getting
amazing to actually
translucent
see it
glasses.
now.
Oh my
And the detail-
god,
the
be
detail
one of
is
those
phenomenal.
fucks.
I mean, they've literally captured 1-to-1 resolution on a
My
digital
interactions on
image.
Twitter are just making
Extraordinary.
people are very,
Talk us through the
very
detail.
animalistic.
What can we see that we
Definitely
haven't seen
getting
before?
more and more of those vibes. So, like,
I
regardless,
first
you
went
not really
to
like
the Titanic about 5 years ago on
don't want to say
an
don't
expedition,
care about like your
for
looks,
those
or
beings
you
of
don't like
Titanic
dress
for
like
14 years.
super in or
And what we
clicky.
were looking at is
There's a
most
lot of
aspects
people
of
that like
Titanic.
literally just like
It was
knee jerk and
extraordinary,
short
and
circuit to it,
Titanic just captures you
regardless of what it is.
in a way. So what I really want
So,
to
like,
do
for instance, like, I like the way that I look with glasses. I think it makes me look intelligent, and other people have said so too. But then you get normal people that just literally do a surface process of you, and they see glasses and they immediately discard you. It's fucking weird. But there's still people that are literally like, kind of like base level animals, and like trying to figure out how to interact with them in a way. It's a work in progress. It's kind of interesting.
to be able to go back and break new ground, to actually capture the Titanic in a way that we could properly use science to look at what happened on that fateful night. And we met up with deep water specialists, Magellan, and they mounted an extraordinary expedition to the Titanic to capture literally every rivet, every detail, using scanning and other technology. And that
Someone
gives
paid for
us,
that.
I mean, what I never dreamt we'd have, an ability to literally look around the site to find out what happened, or we will find out because the journey's beginning now, to find out what happened on that fateful night, but also the details of the personal stories. You know, we can actually tell from the wreck, we can see personal details and tell personal stories.
Which is really important, isn't it? Because I think sometimes we get fascinated, obsessed with the structure of the ship. Understandably, phenomenal achievement to build and then lose. But it's all about the people.
It is all about the people, and I mean, you know, just a couple of examples of what the scientists are already coming out and what's coming out of the wreck. We can go to Boiler Room 1, and Park Stevenson, one of the Titanic experts, has worked out that when it actually imploded at the top of the boiler room, and so it was a light when it into the water. So we now know that that boiler room was the boiler room, and who's in it, who were keeping the lights on that allowed so many people to escape the Titanic. What a personal, you know, what personal moments that is. And then,
Because that's always been a mystery, isn't it?
it's always been a mystery as to what happened. And then another mystery is people like Officer Murdoch, who's always been accused of not launching the last lifeboat. But if you actually go to there, you find a tiny little davit, which is was still blocking where the lifeboat should have launched. So we now know that, in fact, he was trying to launch it. I mean, this is just the beginning of so many. And then there's the debris field, this area of about 3 miles wide, where when the boat went down, a lot of the belongings of people were spilled out over the ocean. And we're using artificial intelligence of faces and other details of each passenger to actually say, who is that watch? You know, whose is that Megalodon necklace that we found on the bottom of the ocean? And that, I think, brings
James Cameron, I think at one point, that's like Titanic era. That's like 2000s. He did like the deep sea stint. It's kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of, if there's no money involved in it, a lot of people will not do it. They will not touch it. And usually the stuff that they do is prestigious. So it's something that's been done, climbing Mount Everest, right? Yeah. There's a shitload of people that climb Mount Everest every year. Like, there's literally lines of people just going up and down the mountain just to take photos at the top to say they've done it. It's literally a tourist attraction. But like, if you talk about something that no one has done or very few people have done, no one wants to really do it because it's not as prestigious, right? It might not get attention or grab people's interest nearly as much. So like, if you have a lot of places on Earth that haven't been visited or rarely visited, people don't want to do it because either there's no money involved in it, which is capitalism, or at the same time, when they do go there, it's, it might not garner the reaction, the prestige that other things bring. So, like, deep sea exploration is actually really cool, in my opinion. If you see some of the videos they're bringing up, still, because it still happens, it's just very rare, it's actually really cool. My glasses make me look like a distinguished gentleman. I think the fucking same thing. But there's like people that don't understand how prisms work. So like the side of your face will be a little bit indented because of the way that, prisms bend light so I can see things properly. Yeah, like there's literally like fucking base human beings that don't understand like basic stuff, and they just they'll just literally just rail on that because they don't like understand it. But I have contacts too. I don't wear them in front of the computer because your glasses actually keep your eyeballs nice and moist. They keep them nice and wet. Yeah. And contacts tend to dry out your eyes, so I don't wear contacts inside. So
now, and I think allowing people to go on a journey today.
You just said you found a necklace at the bottom of the ocean. It's not that one, is it?
No, it's not. We haven't yet found that. But, you've got to understand this is masses of data. And the experts are only just beginning to find extra detail.
Like, doing this without stirring up dust is also pretty incredible. So in order to take a picture like this without stirring up dust,
day by day are coming out.
And one of the things you said earlier is you said we're going to find out what happened, and you've given us some of the personal stories. Don't we kind of know what happened?
I guess
we had Parks on the program earlier on this morning, and he gave us his theory. Do we really know what happened?
Okay, what's happened is, and great explorers have been down to the Titanic.
What do we really know?
But actually, they went with very low resolution cameras, and they could only speculate on what happened. We now have every rivet of the Titanic, every detail, and we can put it back together. So for the first time, we can actually see what happened, and we can use real science to find out what happened. Now, I didn't think that was ever going to be possible, but it is, and it's now being captured. So it's very exciting, and it will take a long time to go through all those details. But literally, week by week, there are new findings that we never knew existed.
In 2012, for the centenary of Titanic, I went to the wreck site for breakfast on a ship. And we didn't go down, but we just stayed on the surface of the water. And on board that cruise ship were hundreds of families whose ancestors were on board Titanic, and many of them perished. And I know that some of them are a little worried about the intrusion, the diving.
Unrelated.
They think it should be left as a grave site on the bottom of the water. Well, what do you say to people who think that this is a little intrusive and we should just leave it?
With all our projects, we've involved family members of survivors. And all we can say is that a large number want to know what happened. And don't forget, this is totally non-intrusive. This is, none of this technology ever touches the Titanic or goes anywhere near the Titanic. So it's non-intrusive. The bodies are long gone because of the conditions down there. And I think, I would hope the majority would want to find this out. But it's very important that whatever we do, and we do in conjunction with the families of the survivors.
Anthony, it has been fascinating to talk to you and to see those images this morning. It's one of those things, isn't it? You think you know what happened. We actually don't know at all, do we? You're finding out so much more.
Yeah. And I think I love the fact that we will be able to.
Montana become first US state ban app. Yep, I saw that. TikTok's a plague. It's like shorts in general. It just shuts off your mind and you don't really engage or do anything. There's no processing. It's like worse than normal cable TV, which I didn't think is possible, but it is. It definitely seems that way, where your mind doesn't even engage anything and then you're just on to the next one. It reminds me a lot of Robot Chicken. Back in the 2000s, I used to call it ADD entertainment because Robot Chicken is just barely tolerable enough, because when you get bored of it is when they feed you another skit, right? They just keep doing it over and over and over, and that's what TikTok is. it disables your brain and then like sucks out the matter in it. You can literally get lost for hours looking at that and then just wondering what the fuck you watched. Most of it's not even interesting. Ah, cool. Bot comment. Crazy how we're still exploring the ship even to this day. Prestigious, money involved. There's some really cool shipwrecks though. There's this one, was it the most well preserved ship in the world? Which was like a a a frigate that was sunk in like 1776, and they pulled the whole thing up intact. It's in a museum now. Vasa. This- It is. This guy right here. Like they, that's pretty fucking cool. This is like straight out Pirates of the Caribbean. Like look at that shit. They found like an extremely well preserved ship, and they just pulled the whole thing up. That's incredible. Like like what it was in, was it 1600s? 1628. Wish I knew this existed. I would have liked to visit this. This is pretty cool. They used to allow you to walk around on the deck, and they stopped that because obviously it's destroying the deck. Very, very cool. Let's see. Interesting. I think I want to take a look at. I don't know if I don't want to take a look at Techtainment. That's not Techtainment. I think we're gonna take a look at the Voodoo Brick. I've been putting that off. It's Arcane.